We're live.
That's good.
I love these things where you just sit down and you're live with Lev Parnas, who's got a snappy new haircut, dude. Nice do. Love it.
What's up, brother? I didn't even know we were live already. I was just getting my tea ready.
I didn't know we were live either. I think what happens is if Substack doesn't, if you don't start Substack, it starts it for you now. I think that's part of the deal.
Hey, everyone. Welcome. Hey, Amy, Shirley.
Shirley Figueroa. I know her. Sunny. Hi, Sunny. Hi, all. Hi, everybody. It's one of my favorite parts doing this with you is watching all these people stream in and say hi. Hey, all. Hi. Nice to see you. You notice, too, what they do is they now like share recipes and have conversations in the chat. Did you ever notice? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, man, if you could go through and listen to the news we're giving you and figure out some recipes in the meantime, God bless you. Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
Sometimes this makes me like, like, oh my God, like
I know.
what's playing out. Have you been watching this fiasco the past couple of days? All of this stuff and all of this back and forth. And did you see the Axios video? Yes.
Politico interview?
Yeah. Was that Axios or Politico?
I think it was a Politico blonde haired lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
That interview?
Yeah, Politico.
Yeah, dude. It was, you start to run out of superlatives and words to describe this guy. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get into it today. We'll talk a little bit. And by the way, welcome to the weekend roundup, which is now Tuesday. Busy couple of days for us. It's Christmas up here. I've got the entire family all over the place. We had 20 people for dinner last night. It was a lot of fun. So apologize for the lack of, and it's been all weekend. But to your point, it's impossible to look away. Like it's funny because it's the conversation at every dinner. It's a conversation with every family member. And you almost lose yourself in these conversations and they all start with the same, tenor. Can you fucking believe what this guy just said today? You do that every day. We're doing it now. We're doing it with the interview. Hi, everybody. Hi, Tranquil Rain. Hi, Lisa. And yesterday and today, the interview that he did yesterday, some of the posts that he put out yesterday, some of the posts that he put out today. It's almost like he's a cornered rat, though. Like, it's got to be, right? I mean, let's get into it because, like, I only see hope on the horizon when everybody else is talking about doom and gloom. But we'll get into what's going on in Europe. But your take on his weekend, like, just unhinged.
I was going to say that. I mean, listen, it's hard to say that, I'm excited because I am excited because of what I'm seeing take place in Megawar. I mean, watching Marjorie Taylor Greene really take a major, she's not just taking a stab at him. She's like, she's coming out and she's, going all out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy to watch. And we have to be very careful here, folks, because there's something else coming out. This is something I was going to be writing around later on in my Substack. But MAGA is broken apart. MAGA is cracked, and we're going to take it apart piece by piece of, we'll talk about it a little later. But out of MAGA, what I saw is being built right now, and it's coming out, is instead of Make America First, make America, not Make America Great Again, Make America First. Basically, the white supremacist 1930s are basically it's just that's what you're seeing. What's being played out also overseas with Europe, which we'll get to, and everything. It's all about basically shutting down our borders, making American-made products, getting rid of all the immigrants. It's a main part of Project 2025, and that is why Trump, when he was running for office, denied so much that he had anything to do with Project 2025, because a big part of it is part of what MAGA really stood for, what they wanted, that white supremacist knowledge. And now you're seeing, is it hard to hear me? Should I put on some earplugs?
Yeah, maybe some headphones. I can hear you fine, but I think there's some people out there that would love to hear your dulcet tones, dude.
Yeah. I'll get my what's it called, headphones. But
Yeah.
yeah, so no, there's definitely a breakup going on, but definitely we have to be very careful because of the what's spitting out of it.
Well, let's get to that too, because what's spinning out of it is, not just the fracture of MAGA, the tweets this weekend, True Socials calling MAGA T-publicans or Trump-publicans now. He's trying to rename the MAGAs. Everybody who identified as MAGA as Trump-publicans, not Republicans, not GOP, not MAGA, not Trumpers. So he's trying to give the cult a new name. But he took it in the mouth this weekend from Europe, specifically 5 different countries. He took it in the mouth this weekend from the Supreme Court, who told him, and you could see him furiously truth socialing about, the tariff tantrum that he's having right now. He probably knows that by now his tariffs are going to be toast. We're watching him try and box in Ukraine. Can't do it. Instead, he's boxed in with Putin now because the EU seemingly grew a spine with the rest of the coalition of the willing. Marjorie Taylor Greene's interview this weekend. Marjorie Taylor Greene was an unhinged lunatic. She was even an unhinged lunatic in the interview with Leslie Stahl and still made way more fucking sense than Donald J. Trump ever has, and spoke directly to that America First faction, as you pointed out, right? Like this is a 12 alarm blaze. Donald Trump is trying to pass it all off. Oh, and let's not forget about Pete Hegseth, who now has to go testify in front of Congress for murdering 86 Caribbeans just because. Let's not forget about any of that as well. But I don't know where you want to start. I think just because of Ukraine, we should
Uh,
probably start there. But yeah, you go ahead, Lev.
yeah, no, let's definitely start in Ukraine, but there's another couple of things that are breaking on the horizon that we should definitely, just keep to attention. By the way, is this better? Do you hear me
So
better
much
now?
better. Yeah, brother. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
It's really good.
Is first of all, the breaking story that I broke a few days ago about Dan Bongino that he's looking to break, and looks like January is the date where he's going to look to leave, which is another interesting part. And also this Paramount deal, which has been
Mhm.
now uncovered that the money behind the Paramount deal happens to be none other but drum roll, Jared Kushner,
Mhm.
and Trump played it off yesterday like he had no idea what's going on, besides the fact that he, which we'll get into Hexac, turned around and said, one day he said, I'll let you watch the video. The next day he said he won't let you watch the video. The third day he said it's all up to Pete Hexac, whatever he decides. So it's on again, off again. And I always say, and this is what the number one thing, if all of you, anybody that knows me knows about one thing, is what I say is don't watch what they say, don't look what they say, don't listen to what they say, excuse me, watch what they do.
Mhm.
And that's extremely, extremely important to do, to make sure that, because it's not what they say, it's what they do that's right there. That's what we're looking at right now play out, because it's their actions that say everything that means, not the words that they go out there, the fake promises they do, or the speeches that they make.
Mm. Well said. Yeah, works versus words. We talk about that all the time, and you say it every single time we do a show. You're like, forget what they're fucking talking about. Forget about what's on a True Social tweet. Forget about it. What are they doing? So, what Donald Trump put on social media, the national security strategy that he put last week, where he basically told divorce, Europe, you're done. I'm finished with you. We need to take a pro-Russia stance, make friends with Russia. By the way, Canada, go fuck yourself. I'm not interested in you. You're a vassal state. That really did, those were words not backed up by works, obviously. His works have been he's always going to abandon Ukraine. But in the past 48 hours, we've seen the EU really rally for Ukraine. Not just the EU, but we've also seen the coalition of the willing step in and go, hey, you can't do that. You can't just turn around. And if you are going to turn around, let's force the issue and say, give us a piece of paper that says you're done with us. Let us know what you're going to do with those 100,000 troops that are currently in Europe. Are you going to try and turn the war machine on Ukraine and the allies and the coalition of the willing? Is NATO done? There's a bunch of loose strings, but I want to get to the 5, right? The 5 countries that really came to Ukraine's defense, meeting with Macron, meeting with Merz, meeting with Keir Starmer this weekend, and what you're hearing, because they're saying they're going to have some kind of solution or resolution to what's going on right now in the next 3 to 4 days.
No, that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, these guys are not going to have any solution resolution. The bottom line, yes, it's good, but they do a lot of talking, but also watch their actions. I mean, they're not running around supplying nonstop. They're talking about it. They're doing it. But at the end of the day, their plan, just like everybody else's, is try to appease Donald Trump and hope that Donald Trump is going to do a 180, just like the media keeps talking about, and all of a sudden flip and go against Putin. I think by this time we should all realize, and I hope they realize, I hope, because they've been just like Donald Trump keeps flip flopping the EU and all of these, just like Donald Trump said, he likes these guys. He likes these European leaders. The reason why he likes these European leaders because they don't have a backbone. On the contrary, they talk a big game. They say they're going to do it. Let's see what happens. Because now it's time to act and not time to play, because now you're seeing what I've been telling you for the past 7 months. Now we're coming to a head. Once you saw Jared Kushner come into the ball game, now it's time to divvy up the money. Now it's time to bring everybody. The masks are off, as I wrote in my column in my Substack today. Now you see, just think about the actions. So you have the biggest meeting supposedly happening, peace meeting between the United States and Putin, and Trump sends Witkoff and Kushner instead of himself, or having any delegates like Marco Rubio even go, even if you're setting it. That's the first thing. Second thing, after this meeting, Trump has not even mentioned this. He has not even spoken about this. He has not had a press conference. On the contrary, every time he's asked about what transpired or what we downloaded, he keeps playing it off that I need to speak to them, like he's not spoken to them, or like he doesn't know what's actually taking place in Ukraine. Then we see in this interview that he just did with Politico, basically where he's coming out and he's again, what is he doing? He's coming out that, like I said, the masks are off. He said exactly what I've been saying for 7 months. First of all, it's all about regime change, because she asked him flat out, and there said, "Do you want elections in Ukraine?" And
Elections, yeah.
he's like, "Absolutely, that's what we need. It's Zelensky. He's the bad guy." These are all, Russian Putin talking plan. That's why you didn't see Zelensky here. You didn't see even the courtesy of Kushner and Witkoff flying to Brussels or Kiev or somewhere to meet Zelensky. Instead, Kushner called him on the phone. He called Zelensky on the phone, telling him literally, "You have to give up." This is the negotiating, folks. I mean, the
Donbas,
media
right?
will. Yeah, you have to give up Donbass. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. And Zelensky said no. And because of that, Trump goes all pissy, saying that, just think about it. He says that Zelensky hasn't even read, that's bullshit, because Zelensky did read it and he told them to go stick it where the sun doesn't shine. But then he goes on to add that his people loved it, that all the, it's the lying and the manipulation, that saying that supposedly that the envoys that came here with the delegations loved what's it called?
Witkoff's peace plan. Yeah.
Trump's would cost peace plan and
Mhm.
Kushner, whatever you want to call it, and that Zelensky's the problem. Zelensky's the one that's not wanting it, and that's a bunch of bull. Because again, they're playing on, they try and force Ukrainians' hands to come out and say something negative against them, so they could all of a sudden explode and say, like it's that bully tactic where you keep pushing, you keep poking, like seeing how far you could poke the bear. But what I'm hearing from my sources, and as I wrote in my Substack, and I encourage all of you to go read it, is that the Ukrainians, listen, they've been dealing with this. They know what's going on. It's a lot more difficult when not only are you not getting help. See, this is the problem. Not only are the Ukrainians not getting help from the United States, but they actually have an adversary in the United States by what Trump keeps doing,
Mhm.
by constantly going out, dangling carrots, causing this confusion inside of the EU, giving fake promises, playing out, stretching out the timelines, going back and forth, 2 weeks here, like I call him 2 week Donnie, back and forth. All of this has been playing out to 10 months. What I said is exactly to drag it out to now it's winter time. Now the attacks, now they're not. See, the war, what people need to understand is the war is at a standstill, folks. Russia cannot take any power. That is is why they're trying to force Ukraine to give up Donbass. Not that they could take it, because if they could take it, they wouldn't be negotiating
Yeah,
for
they
it. It's
can't
just
win on the ground. They need someone else to come in
common
and play the
sense,
heavy.
right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What Russia is doing, though, and this is why it's so important for us to support Ukraine. And by the way, if anybody has the Ukrainian GoFundMe, please throw it up there, because it's more than ever important to support Ukraine right now. Is because right now Donald Trump is actively, completely now in the open, walking away from it. Now
Hmm.
it's completely, he's also targeting Zelensky by walking around saying that, that we need to have, again, pushing elections, again, by turning around, starting to say there's corruption going on over there. And the one thing you saw is, remember in the beginning, Zelensky said, I'm going to meet with Donald Trump. Trump said Zelensky was coming to Washington. I said, that's never happening. You see, that never happened. The reason why that never happened, because Trump, the purpose of him coming here was for Trump to lean on him like a mobster does, and to tell him either you're out, or in or out. Trump can't do that on the phone because there's transcripts. there's we've already went through that perfect for phone call situation. There's a lot of people, so, what I'm saying to you. So
Yeah, you were on one of those perfect phone
you know what I'm
calls.
saying. You know what I'm saying to you. So, so unfortunately, but look, the bright spot is that Ukrainians, it's not the same Ukraine that it was back in 4 years ago.
Yeah,
Ukraine is one of the biggest armies in Eastern Europe after Russia. Ukraine's drone technology is probably number one in the world right
it
now.
is. Yeah.
Ukraine, is going to get help from the Europeans, because, yes, they might talk a big game and, fold, but I think the Europeans are really understanding this is not a game this time,
Yeah.
especially watching the way Trump is allowing him. And I think this national security that you and Zev broke, and that piece of doctrine that Trump put in there, basically. Russian propaganda talking points, exactly. Once the EU saw that, once all of them saw that, basically you're on your own, and they understood they're next. They understood that, if for some reason Trump stays in power, what's it called? Obviously, I'm also hearing contingency plans, because behind, yes, by the way, somebody asked, the banner behind says Ukraine. That was the Ukrainian national soccer team gave
Mhm.
me that. So I hung it up there. What's it called? By the way, for those of you that don't know, Alexander today literally drove down to Donetsk area, and tomorrow hopefully we'll go live, because it's pitch black over there. It's really, really bad. But tomorrow we're going to go live, and from there. By the way, let me put up while Dean, for a second. Give me a second. Let me get
Yeah, for sure.
Alex's the GoFundMe up here.
Yeah, this is
For
the,
this.
of course, voice of Ukraine, Alex Bolbier. He's your co-host, voice of Ukraine. He's actually in Ukraine. He is doing God's work, delivering not munitions. Excuse me. He's not delivering munitions.
No,
That'd be bad.
munition, no.
He's delivering, emergency
Nothing.
aid, as hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes, warm blankets, hot
Yeah.
shots, food, that kind of stuff
Food,
to
yeah,
people in the front line. Yeah,
he's doing all of it here. I just put it up there, guys. If you could do me a favor, just grab it, repaste
yeah,
it.
there it is. Yeah, yeah. Share it with
Yeah,
anybody you can, folks. Yeah.
spread it around. Extremely important, because right now it's winter time. Plus, also it's holiday season.
Hmm.
Part of what Alex is also doing right now is he's making plans to go some of these children's, not only hospitals, but also refugee homes. Also go to some of these where displaced military special places where they're getting treated, and give them a little, buy some presents, give them a little hope,
Little
bring
secret
some.
Santa for some people that are really struggling over there
Exactly,
right now.
because
Yeah, yeah.
it's because the fact, when they hear that the stuff that, because they hear the news, they hear people have now social media, phones, when they see Trump coming out saying the things he does, when they see the press releases and all of that, and when you're sitting out and it's bombs falling, rockets are falling, you got things blowing up all over. Everybody, your loved ones are dying on a
Mm.
daily basis, and it's wintertime, holidays. You put all of that into consideration, and then you watch the most powerful man in the United States walking out there talking about how Zelensky needs to, go read this thing. He needs to cut this deal. He needs to give away. And the sad part in all of this deal, they don't talk about. You don't hear Trump, or you don't hear Witkoff. You don't hear any of the people talk about the children. I was
It's
just going to say
yeah.
cash flow. There, none about the children that are being not only abducted, they're being sent over to North Korea, folks. For those of you that read my
I heard
Substack,
that the
maybe
other
it was
day. Like, there's a
they're
story that
going
they
there.
were being
I heard
trafficked in. Yeah, but that was you. They're going to North Korea. What are they sending kids to North Korea for?
Yeah, for reprogramming to go back to fight. Then and not only that, to fight Japan, to fight. I mean, this should yeah. I wrote that maybe 4 or 5 days ago.
Mm.
Go back and make sure you read that. It's horrifying. Also, you don't see any security measures. So you don't see any. So this is what I'm saying to you, that they're walking around talking about sign some kind of deal. I was watching actually uh, uh, talking to somebody in Ukraine told me that one of the Ukrainian ambassador to America was like going off on one of the anchors here on CNN, saying like, "You people are you're covering this thing like Zelensky has to, or we have to accept something. What can we hear? Let me hear. What are we getting in return? It's
Mhm.
always Ukraine has to do this. Ukraine has to do that. Ukraine, just think about it. Ukraine's given up minerals. Ukraine signed every contract. Ukraine's even agreed to stop the word Ukraine every time Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Tell me one thing. The only thing that Donald Trump has ever said that Russia will consider is not taking more land.
The whole
Well, they
thing.
can't take.
Yeah.
Well, they can't take more land. See, the problem is, and this is where the problem, folks. I'm going to give you the real truth. Russia can take more land, but they are terrorists, and by doing terrorist acts, yes, on the front of the war, as we were talking about, it's a standstill. The military can't take more land. They need to spend millions of soldiers to be able to get maybe a mile of land. That's literally how crazy it is. So what they're doing is they're using tactical, what's it called, terroristic warfare by attacking civilians, by attacking schools, by attacking
Hospitals,
nursing homes,
malls.
hospitals,
Yeah,
malls,
yeah, yeah.
doing all of that to be able. So that is what is going on. If it was just a war, we wouldn't even be talking, because Ukraine is kicking butt, guys. Ukraine is not, and if you read the Substacks, we write about how Ukraine strategically, Russia's economy is in a free for all because of the way Ukraine's doing it. And who's helping them out? Obviously, that's why they sent in Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to now all of a sudden bring in, what's it called? Do that, you know.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying to you. It's a farce to watch this all play out, Dean.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny. I knew I'd get the straight goods from you, right? But I also know that there is some hope today that there hasn't been in quite some time, right? Because of the coalition of the willing, because the EU is now left with no choice. I think this might be sort of a blessing in disguise for the fucking EU, to be honest with you, is for Donald Trump to butt out and for them to say, you know what? We can't keep relying on the nanny state. We can't keep relying. It's the same thing with Canada, right? Like, let's just talk some hard truths here. The second Donald Trump showed up on the scene and he told Canada that, hey, I'm going to annex you, I'm going to forcibly take you over. We got busy, stop being complacent. Like, we got busy going, oh, yeah, we can't just defer to the United States anymore. We really need to do something for ourselves. And I think this is kind of an inflection moment for the EU. I'm an EU citizen. You're an EU citizen. I was born in Europe. You were born in Europe. We have ties back to Europe, and I think we both honestly, in a moment, can speak pretty clearly about the complacency of the European Union, how they've relied on Donald Trump or Better America for a long period of time, and now that they can't, it has never been more fucking important to beat Russia in Ukraine. Like, it has never been more important to beat Russia in Ukraine. So starting to see guys like Keir Starmer actually, and he's as ineffectual and weak as the next guy, but you're starting to see them kind of begrudgingly, to your point, go, I guess we got to do this. Like, I guess, but I want to know what this is and who you're talking to about what they might do or what they can do or what. what the EU has to do for Ukraine right now because in essence they're doing it for themselves, right, Lev?
Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing. That's why sometimes, when I go on these talk shows or when I go on some of these, and I tell them the best thing that would be for Ukraine and the best thing that would be for the EU is if Trump would already butt out. But the reason Trump won't butt out, Trump wants to butt out himself, is because Putin is pulling the strings and holding
Mhm.
him in the game. And that's what is, that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody, all these pundits and all these news and everybody, they're hoping that see, this is the crazy part. This is what we need to like realize and come to a realization. Donald Trump is not going to help Ukraine. He's not going to wake up one day, do a 180. He's not going to come out there. Once people realize that, once, the media realizes it, once, everybody realizes and stop kissing his ass and trying to, somehow not hurt his feelings or not. Once they start dealing with them and say, you know what, go screw yourself. We don't need your permission to go attack Russia. What are you going to attack us? Put him in that position. What do you think? Donald Trump is going to use or send brutes on the ground to attack Ukraine?
Yeah.
He's not going to do it,
No.
folks. He's not going. So what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Stop giving Ukraine weapons? He's not giving them
Too
weapons.
late.
He's going to stop sharing information. They don't listen to his information anyway. They don't trust it. So what I'm saying to you is, the longer they procrastinate, the longer the EU, and the only reason, and I'm telling you honestly, from what I'm hearing from my sources, Ukraine, unfortunately, are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I'll explain to what's going on. Yes, the EU wants to help. Yes, the EU is scared. Yes, the EU wants us, but it's a coalition. It's not one person. You have all of these countries that some are more friendlier, like Italy with
Mhm.
Donald Trump. Some want to kiss ass like without nonstop, like England, the UK, and will do anything. Some of them will constantly go against like Germany and just tell them to go screw themselves. So you have this coalition of different, and I'm giving you an example of some of them that are all what's it called, and the message is, yes, we're behind you. But behind closed doors, the message to Zelensky is be careful. Don't get Donald Trump mad. Don't hit Russia too hard where they might come back and we have to actually act right now. And it's basically just do what you can, keep doing what you can until we will convince. And this is the conversations that they're having. That's why it's frustrating because they need to move on, as they still think that by kissing his ass, that by somehow proposing some sort of a plan back and forth, that they will be able to change his mind. What they don't understand is that is exactly part of Vladimir Putin's plan. That exactly is going back and forth, continuing the conversation, having Donald Trump and having the United States stay in the game because they keep that hope alive that
Mhm.
maybe, have Donald Trump be that actor that he is, and every few so often get mad at Putin and say something like, oh, I'm going to send a submarine somewhere, and that's it. Like, just think about the craziness that's been going back and forth the past. If I sat down, it would take me. I wouldn't. Probably take me half a day to go over everything that we transpired and back and forth and back and forth and just nonstop. And if you take a
But
think
but
about
but let
how
me ask you a question. Why hasn't Ukraine done that? Like, why have we continued to play
because
footsies, and why do we continue to placate this guy? Why?
because of the EU. That's the problem. Because, like you said, because like you have people in the EU countries that are willing to go with Ukraine and understand what's happening. Countries like Poland, Germany, and
Sure,
others
yeah,
that
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
So they're saying go for it. And then you have other countries that are saying no, we have to keep the conversation open. We don't, because they're scared. They don't want boots on the ground. They don't want military. They're scared to get into a conflict, and they're trying to think that they could get into some sort of a negotiation with Donald Trump. And because of that, Zelensky, obviously, Ukraine can't go all by themselves. So they need that's why I'm saying, if tomorrow Donald Trump said, if today he turned around, just think about this. What, with all of this going on, he keeps insulting Zelensky. He keeps saying he's never going to be Russia's so strong. Why can't he then just shut up and say, you know what? I'm out of it. EU, go do what you want here. NATO, I'm selling you the weapons. You want to give it to Ukraine? Give it to Ukraine. Just like, I'm out of it. That's it. I'm not negotiating between Russia and Ukraine.
Mhm.
Watch what happens then. Why doesn't he do it? Just think about it. Why doesn't he do it? His MAGA base wants him to do it because Russia has him by the balls because of the Epstein files because of the Epstein files and other things for 40 years, and that's why
Yeah.
you're not, and that's why you see Donald Trump. That's why you see right now Witkoff. That's why you're not going to see anybody that he doesn't trust to the point that will go down with the ship like a Witkoff or a Kushner family negotiate any of that stuff. That's why you see none of the actual people that could possibly say something ever be in a negotiation with Putin.
Yeah. Rubio's a wild card. Even though he's the Secretary of State, he's the fucking wild card. You bring up some really valid points, and I want to kind of brass tacks it just for a second because we got right back down to the Epstein files. You're like, okay, it's probably all about the Epstein files. It must be so bad. What they have on Donald Trump over the past 40 years must be so bad that he's not only unwilling to attack Russia in any way, shape, or form. He is unwilling to say anything at all that's negative about Vladimir Putin, and like he wants to get into business with Russia, but he could take over the whole country. Like if he literally supplied, if he just flooded Ukraine with equipment, like if the United States could help end the Russian Empire, like
Of
tomorrow.
course.
They could
Oh,
do it
of course.
tomorrow. Like, and so I sit back and I go, what is in that dossier? Like, what is in that
Uh,
file?
okay, I'm gonna put it to you like this, and this is why, because I know Donald Trump very well, and I'll give you from the way when
Dude, he
Marjorie
could
Taylor.
own the whole country.
But but you gotta understand, he wouldn't get, it's like nuclear weapon. Before he got a chance to the first round, or I mean, to happen, they wouldn't have to hit nuclear weapons. They would open up a barrage of information about Donald Trump and people in his inner circle, because the one thing he told, look, Donald Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself. There might be a few people that Donald Trump cares about in his inner boys circle, very few that, and that's not because he cares about them because of, he has a heart, or because, it's the right thing to do, they grew up or whatever. It's because they have things in their closet together. It's because they've done dirty shit together, like Epstein. For the best thing that could have happened for Donald Trump is, can you imagine if that Epstein was alive right now? Can you just imagine if Epstein was alive right now, or how Donald Trump? So think about that. There are other Epsteins in those files.
Yeah.
Epstein wasn't the only pedophile. Epstein was not the only one. Just think about it. There's a lot of Epsteins in those files. There's a lot of people that Donald Trump ran with in a certain crowd. Just like, remember when you had the Rat Pack running around with, in
Sinatra,
Hollywood.
Martin, Davis.
Right.
Yeah.
You had all these, crews running around together, and Donald Trump was running around with crews like Epstein and people like that. Oh, you see, so, and he's and the clearest sign that Donald Trump is really scared, and also for himself, because he talks about himself in the third person always. Do you guys notice that he talks about himself in the third person? So I'm going to give you,
It
I'm
makes
going
me
to tell you
laugh.
something.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I'm going to tell you something that nobody has picked up on, and you guys are the ones. I'm going to give you the first telltale sign that Donald Trump is shitting bricks about the Epstein files personally for himself. Because when Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and did the 60-minute interview, she was asked about a conversation she had with Donald Trump. And she said that she, called Donald Trump and, told him to release the files and all that. And Donald Trump responded to her, and this was very telltale, very important. He said to her, he said, "You don't understand, Marjorie. A lot of good people are going to get hurt." Think about that. That was his way to tell her that I'm going to get hurt. See, she didn't catch on to that. She didn't catch on to that, and that is why they're having such a rift. She was like, "Listen, you're not getting hurt. I don't care about the other guys. Let's go after it." But Trump has a tendency of talking about himself in the third person, and he was basically there, and that's why they're having such a rift. So yes, a lot of it has to do with the Epstein files, and not only because they're right now coming out, they're on the verge, and forget about all the stuff we're seeing with this bullshit about that the judge approved, Maxwell's, what's it called? Grand jury testimony, because remember, the judge said that what is in that grand jury testimony is maybe 1% of what or 2% of what the DOJ has. So
Yeah.
it's not like some breaking news that the media is making it seem. Where we're gonna see where this comes is next week. I think it's December 17th, 16th, or 18th. One of those days is when the 30 days are up. Now, when those 30 days are up, is when we're going to see what Pam Bondi, that's when you're going to start seeing the shit show, the games being played, what's being delivered, and that is where the propaganda machine is going to start. Because remember, part of it is going to be what, there's a lot of people in those Epstein files. So, there's also an investigation going on into Bill Clinton right now, and Larry Summers, an official FBI investigation. It's not a joke. I mean, this is the things that are happening. So these are all, it's like when you watch a play, these are behind the scenes, like people are running around and, doing the lights and doing everything. So then you could see the actual performance. The
Hmm.
actual performance is still to come. You haven't seen the show yet. This is all preparation for the show that they're trying to set up. And that's why it's so important. What we need to do is we need to cut the strings, shut the lights off, turn off the electricity, flood the water, and kill their show before they get to play the show. Because if they get to put the show on, folks, we are
Deep,
that's them.
deep
That we're
shit.
Yeah, that's them not allowing us to have elections in 2026, because that's where this is all coming to, Venezuela, all the stuff. So yeah, so I mean, wherever you want to go into, but this is where we're at, folks.
Yeah. Well, you paint a bleak picture. Thanks.
No, no, but I was gonna say to you is
But there's
why.
hope in that
A
bleakness, is my
lot of hope.
point.
A lot, right? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
started off by saying I'm excited, and what I'm excited about is that first of all, I'm excited. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If we could change the subject a little bit from Ukraine and go into what we're doing here in the United States, and what's happening here in the United States, because I think it's also important and it also intertwines. I think the two have to very much to do with each other, but they're both such important subjects that sometimes we could go off on one subject, and but I think we need to speak about both, and I'll tell you why I'm so excited. So yesterday we had a good conversation with this group that we've been putting together behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
looks like we're going to be able to come to an understanding. We're going to be able to retain them, and I can tell you. I'm extremely excited because this group, once we retain them and once we're able to go out there starting January, you're not even ready. If you think that you're seeing Trump have a bad day now, you're not even ready for what he's about to have. The great point about it is they're also going to put together a machine that's going to be able to self-sustain, a funding machine, a donor machine, all the proper ways, so I don't have to deal with these GoFundMe's and deal with any of this stuff. But to get to that point, I need to retain them, and we need to get through the first. So the first point where I need everybody's help, and I know we've been doing great, but we need that little push, is I need everybody to go out there and if somebody has my GoFundMe that we set up, please put it up there, because that's extremely important, because I would love to retain them by next week before the holidays start, so they could go to work, because there's a lot of work and a lot of technical stuff that needs to be put together. So this way we could get on the road. And basically, right now, we need the emergency amount is we need to get to $150,000. So right now, to be able to go retain them, to be able to go get them on there and start setting it up, and we might not need any more through the GoFundMe. They might be able to set up, but that's the number that we need. I know that it says 500 is the goal. That was the original goal, but right now, 911, we got 50 raised already, so we need another 100,000. So we're basically 33% there. And I'm asking each and every one of you to go out there. If you can contribute, if you can't spread it out, tell everybody. But this is the most important thing, so we could go retain these individuals. These are professionals that are going to take us to the next level, so I could be able to go out there and put my plan in motion. What the 150 does is allows us to retain these. It's a best way to explain to you is to go to our volunteer hotline also. It's lev at pttp roundup.proton.me, and put all your questions so I don't have to go through all of this right now. And we'll give you a whole outline and a breakdown of exactly what's that for, what that entitles, what that group's going to do. So that would be the best way, because otherwise we're going to take up, with a lot of the questions. But extremely
Mm.
excited because once we get over this hump, I will stop half to talking about finances finally and just could go out there and do
Yeah,
my
you can go
thing.
rattle some
And
cages.
I could just go rattle cages, because this is not what I do. I don't like it. I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but we need to be able to get through that hump. So we're doing it
Dude, you're like
grassroots,
number one
guys.
or number two in world politics like every week. So for a guy that doesn't know what he's doing, you're doing a really fucking good job of faking it. So
No,
point that out.
no, no, but we're giving news, but we need to get out to the world because
Yeah, 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 yeah.
we're right now and still in this echo chamber, and I want to get out because the things I have lined up for them, like Dean, I don't even that's why I have a grin on
That's why
my
I'm
face,
laughing.
because I know, because it's like I'll put it this way, folks, it will be the best I could tell you. I never ask for I always tell you where, but this will be the best money you've ever put into anywhere this as a present, as a donation. If you want to say, trust me when I tell you, if you want to say Red Democracy, it will be the best money's ever spent, because the things that I have planned, not only for Donald Trump, but for a lot of the insiders in the administration to be able, because remember, it's not just about getting Donald Trump out of office. There's a lot of Donald Trump has installed a cancer into our society. He's done a lot of damage. There's a lot of people in Congress, people in Senate, but not only that, how many people down the lines in local offices all over the country that are running your school boards, that are running your education, running in what kind of medication, what kind of governors. I mean, the country is completely divided into, you gotta really literally think about where you're gonna live in the United States, because if you pick the wrong state and God forbid you get pregnant and you didn't mean to get pregnant, you might end up going to prison if you try to get an abortion. This is the country we live in right now. So there's a lot of work to be done besides that. So that's why I'm trying to say to you, and that's why I'm so excited, because I have the goods on a lot of them, and then we're gonna have a lot, and that's why right now the next what is it? We got like 9 months left to the midterms, is basically part of what we're gonna set up. I'll give you some insight. So part of what we're gonna do is set up. A stage. I can't give you the names and everything, but we're gonna go. We're gonna have our own setup on tour, basically everywhere we go, and we're gonna go to all the states and that are red, blue, purple during the midterms. We're also setting up a studio inside in Washington D.C. Where I'm gonna be able to. I'm working out with now my probation, where I'm gonna be able to spend 2-3 days out of the week, where I could now actually go and with a team of from video
You can
and really
chase
start
people
putting.
down. You can have people on your show in Washington. You can go and say, "Where's Dan? Hi, is
That's what I'm
Dan
saying to you.
here?
Well, no,
Dan
exactly.
Bongino."
Exactly. You know what I'm saying to you? Really start,
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you, going and putting, action towards. So that's why it's extremely exciting right now. It's like I feel like a kid in the candy store, because when we were on the call, it's a group that basically does from A to Z, all facets. So when I was saying that, we were discussing with them, and they're very powerful. They've done a lot of. If I would have named some of the projects that they've done, you guys would say, "Holy shit!" That's why I'm excited. But I'm not. One of the things that, because a lot of people are scared because of Donald Trump retribution tour. One of the things is that some of these people do not want to even be named, and we wouldn't even talk about them, and we wouldn't even see who we are in the background, because they're doing it because they want to say, but they are worried because of Donald Trump's retribution tour. So
Mm.
but the group is amazing, and the fact that all we need is to get them a couple of months fuel for them to set up the whole machine, to then take that off all my head. So all I could do is go out there and at least I'm off probation in September. With God willing, help September is 2026,
So,
September 26th.
sorry, you're on probation till September. Is that what you
Tw-
just said?
Yeah, September 2026.
How long you been on probation?
2.5 years already.
How long were you in prison?
Prison, I was 4 months inside of prison, and then I was on and halfway house for a year, and then prior to that, I was on home confinement for 3 years.
I think you're starting to see why people don't want to be associated with anything that fights Donald Trump. I mean, yeah, you're a political prisoner, right? Like that's just I had no idea. I just assumed because you keep talking about probation, maybe coming over, getting your conditions lightened. I just assumed it was like for 6 months. So you got basically another fucking year.
Yeah, no, and that's why, it's financials, it's, everything. Amy, God bless you. Thank you for donating. I mean, look, at the end of the day, is we got a plan, and we're going to go kick some ass. We're not taking prisoners. And we're going to get it done one way or the other. I want to do it grassroots. I don't want. That's why I'm coming to our community, is because every time you ask anybody to write a big check, they want a favor.
Yeah.
It's just, unfortunately, I mean, it's like, so you know what? I don't want the big checks, unless it's somebody with an angel in their heart and said
Doesn't want a favor.
doesn't want a favor and is doing it. Then I want,
Yeah, don't take it. Don't kiss off the big checks with no
no,
favors, dude.
no. Then I'll take all the big checks possible. But just think about it. I mean, just think about this, guys. We have 1,300 or 1,400, 1,500 people right now. If each and every one of you, and I know times are tough, but if each and every one of you right now went and did like $5, $10, $20, we could probably get another 30-40% done of this in one shot. And that's why I'm asking you. I know sometimes, we watch the GoFundMe's go by, or we hear and we say, oh, somebody else is going to do it. I'm begging and I'm telling you, don't sit by and let somebody else do it. There's nobody that's going to do it. We don't have somebody coming out there to do it. It's us. And that's why, I'm saying out there, and that's why I'm so excited, is because we don't need to go raise millions of dollars. We don't need to go do all of this. All we need to do is get that, which is still a lot of money, but compared to the project that we're about to do, it's not that big, and it's not that, it's not. I feel it's not that enormous to overcome. We're 33% there, and I think we're going to be able to get done inside our community. And in this way, we'll be able to be free to go out there and really do some damage. Really excited, folks.
Yeah, and when he says damage, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us for the roundup with Lev Parnas, when he says damage, I mean
Happy Hanukkah, guys.
the kind of damage that nobody. Yeah, happy Hanukkah to you too, my man. The kind of damage that people like Donald Trump Jr. just don't get up and walk away from. The kind of damage that guys like Dan Bongino wishes he hadn't opened his door. That kind of damage. Like if you understand where Lev's from, if you understand, his commitment to America, you understand that he knows where all the bodies are buried. You understand that he has 20,000, 30,000 texts, emails, photographs that nobody wants him to publish. If you understand that this man spent several months in jail, several years under house arrest and under confinement because he did what Donald Trump told him to do and got sold out. If you understand all of those things and you put them in a blender, you can imagine what Lev is going to do with what he's going to do with this partnership, what he's going to do for Americans, what he wants to do for democracy. And I highly encourage everybody, if you are one of those people that has seen Lev and you're like, man, I can't get away from him. It's so good. I can't become a paid subscriber to what he does, because not only does it help him continue to stay in your life, it helps him continue to upscale and up level so that he can be the best version of himself, and he can take all the knowledge he has because he is one of the OG mega sausage makers and go and feed it to those guys. Like, that's the one thing that I love about what you're doing. You're like the OG mega sausage. I'm like, hey, who made the mega sausage to begin with? Like, who put this whole bullshit thing together that turned into a cult that destroyed our brains? It was like Lev Parnas. Oh, I Substack live with him like every week, like twice, sometimes 3 times. Did you want him involved, Democrats? No, we're too good for you. Oh, okay. How about you guys over there? You want Lev involved? No. And Lev's like, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
And by the way, just to correct you, not myself. Together, we have an army here. We have a
Yes.
family. We have a
Yes,
community. We have a movement. And a couple of things I just want to say. First of all, if I in any way made anybody feel like, because I know things are hard, I want to really put it clear. If you don't have, I do not want you donating money taking away from your food, kids, or anything like that. And no way. There's other ways you guys could help and contribute. You could pass it on. You could tell us and I don't want you to feel bad because I know times are hard. But I just want for those that can, that it's not going to put a dent in your or hurt you in any way. Whatever you
Hmm.
can, those are because we're here in any way that could help. And I don't want you to feel bad if you can't financial help. You could go to levpttp.proton.me. You could volunteer. You could, best thing you could do also is, like Dean said, become a subscriber, maybe
Yeah.
become a paid subscriber. Also, you could, great thing is pass the message along, because the most important thing is to grow the community, pass the message along, make sure, because I promise you, and 99% of the things, thank you, Joe, so much. 99% of the stuff that you will hear, like when we speak about Dean or stuff I do on Love Remembers,
No one's
by the
talking
way,
about what we talked about today. Nobody's having this conversation. Nobody.
nobody,
No.
none of them. The media is just, so, and also, I have to be strategic, because a lot of people also say to me, why don't you go on with the Midas guys, or why don't you? Because guys, you need to understand. I have a message that for me to be able to do what I need to do, to be able to go into mega world, to be able to go into the conservative world, to be able to uh, get them to listen, to be able to get them to switch, to be able to get them to move. I cannot be portrayed as somebody that's part of the far left and that is, a hardcore Democrat. And I need you to respect and understand that is because this is a strategical, situation that we are doing that. And for those of you that ask me and say, why don't you do this? That's why, we're doing a grassroots movement. That's why I'm asking each and every one of you for the donations, because believe me, I could go to some of these bigger donors. It's only 150,000. It's a lot of money, but there's a lot of people that know that would probably try to do it. But I don't want to be linked to that type of money, because the first thing that Donald Trump and they're going to try to do is discredit me, and to try to make sure to say that I'm being paid by the left, that I'm being, supported by the left, that, that I'm not to listen to me. And I've never been supported by anybody. I've never taken money from anybody, and I have no loyalty. My loyalty goes to only my God, my family, and to each and every one of you that support me and contribute me. So, and that's how it's going to stay. So that's why they could dig, they could search. The best thing about me is after prison, I'm an open book. There's nothing about me that they could come out and bring out that they haven't said already, that they haven't done. But the difference is they are not. And I have the goods on them. So we're going to have some fun. See, and that's why I could do something they can't, a lot of people can't, because a lot of people, and I'm not going to mention names, are still not open books, and they can't go into those world and get into certain debates because they're still have in their closet.
Yeah.
Folks, I got nothing really. They put me through such a ringer that they made up stories that weren't even made. What's it called? So the beauty of it is we have the facts, and that's one thing I love about my team. Our team that we're going to retain is when we were speaking is the one thing they said to me is, and I can't mention names. He said, it's important because what we have that they don't have is we have the facts and we have the truth. And you know what love has? The receipts. And
Hmm.
that's what they don't have. And we're going to destroy them with it, because now, especially with, the things that I have in play going on. So again, folks, those that can, please, thank you. Okay, I see a lot of you that are just donating. God bless you. Keep it up. The holidays are going to be great. I promise you. You are going to get rewarded with some presents and some smiles. And, one day, hopefully, we could do a big party for all of our members, and at some big event, and have everybody, fly in, whoever can, or a virtual party, and celebrate once we're able to get some control back. So for those of you that are donating, and I see a lot of you, God bless you. Thank you from me, from everybody that wants to save our democracy, because for those that can't, you're doing it for all of us. And for those of you that can't, don't feel bad, because we love you. We understand. And that's part of why we're trying to take our country back, so we could get our economy back in order, so we could get our democracy back in order, so we could get back, our insurance lower rates, so we could, all of these are things and policies that we
Eggs. We
could
want
get to.
eggs. We want cheap eggs. We want cheap
Exactly.
gas. We
Yes.
want cheap insurance. We want to be able to. We don't want a 50-year mortgage. We want to take all that. That's all. That all pales in comparison to the beatings will continue until morale improves. Trump regime, however, to Lev's point, it's never been more important to side up and to get on side with the resistance, and that's what I can co-sign here today. Every single thing that this man does is as authentic and altruistic as you think it is. He is not just a steward of your information; he's a steward of the investment that you've made in him, and we all are. We're all going in the same direction. So it's
Yeah,
so so so
we're
important.
gonna
Yeah,
fix it.
yeah, we are
And,
looking forward to it.
and like I said, right now it's just starting to break. But let me just put it to you this way: Jared Kushner has gotten himself into some shit. He with Donald Trump, and we're gonna uncover all of that also, folks. There's a lot going on behind the scenes because Tweedledee and Tweedledum, is just a portion, and Tweedledee Tweedledum is Eric and Don Jr., which we're gonna
Yeah.
make their life is going to be completely. I can't. I'm gonna. If you think
Yeah,
if you
I
think
want, I
Hunter
want, I
Biden.
want the Trump kids' pelts on my mantle.
Well, how about
Like
this one? I'm gonna even give you guys some, since because I see we're all family and this is a
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I want to share some of this. How about this? Hunter Biden's gonna do a lot of that stuff too. Trust me, I tell you, we're gonna have some fun
When
with this,
is the
guys.
Hunter show? Someone asked me about it today. They're like, "When's Lev show with Hunter debuting?"
I'm waiting for. He's been traveling because the holidays. His dad also,
Yeah,
but we're gonna. It's not 11 Hunter show yet, so but it's going to be a first time 11 Hunter live on
podcast,
Substack.
Substack Live. Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be the first Substack live, and some of the
dude, is
lucky.
is he as chill and cool as he looks? Like, I know he's had some
He's
issues.
he's very chill and cool. I
Is
mean,
he chill? Because you're
he's a
chill and
regular
cool
guy.
too. Like, well, if we get a lot of people don't see the you version that I get to see, where I call you head of a show, you're having a tea, we're shooting the shit. You're like, I know you deliver heat. I know you're a howitzer of information. I know that but like you're the most chill guy. Like as soon as the everything hangs up, and you know exactly what you're doing, you know how to communicate. As soon as the camera's off, you're like, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" Like, that's why one of the reasons why I thought everybody needs to get to know Lev. You got to give everybody a chance to get to know how fucking chill and cool you are. You're just that guy. But is Hunter the same way? He seems like it.
He's a regular guy. He's like, that's why I think when the country gets to see, I mean, you see him in bits and pieces, and that's why I
Yeah.
think when he finally, listen, he's been through the ringer, he's been through a lot. Forget about even all the stuff he's been through his own personal life.
Oh, hey, dude, you want to talk flawed? We're all flawed.
Yeah,
We've all been down
exactly.
those
You know what I'm
roads.
saying?
Yeah.
I mean, from the addiction, and everything, but also being a Biden, being
Yeah.
in a family. I mean, and having the death of his mother, the death of his brother, all kinds of crazy shit. So I don't, we all go through it. So I
Yeah.
don't validate. I'm not there to justify or,
Oh, I don't judge. I don't judge anybody.
judge. Yeah, I'm not
No,
judging him.
I don't take
But
his inventory, yours, anybody
exactly,
else's. Yeah.
exactly. But the fact that we then took that and used that against him and his family and the country, that nobody deserves, and no, and he, and that was extra, and that put so much pressure, and he's still dealing with it. The Biden family is still dealing with it, and I think inside he wants to clear his name. He wants to get back some of that, also save our democracy from all of this craziness, and I think when the time is right, and it's going to be very soon. And that's one of the things I said is I was speaking to Hunter and I was telling him how the Substack works, and figuring out. And I said, what, we're going to have also, I have these paid subscribers, and when we do our live show, I'm going to bring up 1 or 2 paid subscribers to interact with you and me. He's like, how do you do that? Like, what do you mean? Like, I was like, this is so great about the platform. So yeah, so we have a lot lined up.
Yeah.
Right now it's like I said, there's a lot of legal things that are happening. The holidays are happening, so I don't know the exact day time, but it will be popped up. It could be like, hey, we're doing it in 24 hours, or we're doing it live tomorrow, because one of the things that, depending on the news cycle, depending on certain things that are happening right now that we're discussing with this, Trump is pushing this, the pardon, the auto Biden pen pardon. He's going to be testing one of the things that we don't even mention, but he's going to test that very soon, probably in the new year. We're going to see either a new indictment or some policy challenge that was done by the auto pen. So that's gonna. So it's definitely coming. So, but I recommend that definitely become a subscriber, at least for notification. And if you can become a paid subscriber, we do these great shows, me and Dean and others, that not only great, but you get to participate, come up,
Yeah.
join them. You see
I
it.
love that. I love that. It's
Coffee
coffee and tea on Saturday mornings. One of my favorite things is when we get a chance just to fire off people's questions, because A,
yeah.
less work for me. B, we get a chance to meet you. You drive the content here. This is what Lev and I love to do. So you never know. You could find yourself on a Substack with Hunter and Lev in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So definitely, but a lot happening. And so you guys need to, right now, we got this week. I mean, it's only Tuesday, but we have this whole Paramount deal with Kushner in the background that's just starting to come unglued. The economy, Donald Trump came out and said it's not A plus, it's not A plus plus,
A plus
it's
plus plus
A plus plus
plus
plus
plus
plus
plus plus
plus.
plus 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 plus. Yeah.
And some more plus pluses.
Fucking
That's how
so stupid.
that's how great this guy thinks. And that's how out of tune he is with where the real world is.
Yeah.
Because he's running around on private jets. He's eating in gold plated. I mean, real gold.
Plates.
Silverware,
Yeah.
plates, stuff like that. So he doesn't, understand. And I used to tell people all the time, Donald Trump would never allow any of his real, MAGA base to use one of his bathrooms. I mean, that's just, but the world's starting to realize who Donald Trump is, and we're going to put a more on there. As far as Hegseth goes, I'm going to tell you folks right now, don't get your hopes up. I know there's a lot of pundits, a lot of people running or putting out, I see on Substack saying that Hegseth's going to go, Christy Noem's going to go. I want to stop you right there. I'm going to just relax a little bit. And they're not going anywhere. These people are running the show. These people are controlling. She controls ICE, helps everything. They got plans. Hegseth is not going. They're going to go down with the ship. The people that are going, and this is what we need to keep an eye on, and this is what part of what we're going to help, and it's going to be, I think, the straw that really breaks the camel's back, because this is an individual that has not turned on Trump yet, but he's already making his way out of making his escape plan. And I think once the hammer comes, and that's Dan Bongino, correct? That's a person that is planning, and I'm hearing that sometime in January we're going to see him, miraculously say, we've done our job, it's time to go, get back to that podcast world and that's when it'll get interesting.
You know what? He kind of tubed his next podcast series because he told everybody that someone paid him to say all that stuff that he said prior to becoming the deputy FBI director. It was like,
well, exactly.
So what are they going to pay him to say next? Real quick before I let you go, Lev, and everybody, please go subscribe. Hit those GoFundMes, please, 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 please. Not just for Ukraine, but for the media play, so that we can unload, we can take all the shackles off of. We can poke the bear and set him free in Washington and other parts around the United States of America, if you can. But I got to ask you. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, 60 Minutes this weekend. She was combative. She didn't capitulate to anything other than she'd been snowed. She was hypocritical, but she really pissed Trump off this weekend. like that 60 Minutes thing where he's like, so 60 Minutes, everybody there should go to fucking jail. And I'm like, okay, Don's really mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene. What are you hearing about the revenge tour where she's concerned? because he plays it off like, I wish her well, whatever. But he doesn't have that bone in his body. He's probably seething, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, before we get to that, quick, just answer. I know the same question popped up a couple of times. Yes, I am speaking with congressmen and congresswomen, and I don't want to mention names because also keep in mind we don't. There's a lot of things that I won't tell you and I can't tell you, and just you have to just try because we also have people like Laura Loomer that are subscribing and watching these shows, and a lot of Trump. Trump himself sometimes even watches reruns of the show, depending on who's on there, like when Mary Trump was on there, and sometimes when we break the news. So there's certain things, like I know he's going to hear about. So I give you the 30,000 feet. That's why I don't give you the details, but you're going to see it in the action, not in the conversation. See, I do the different. I don't do the talk. I do the action.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They do the talking. And, so, so,
You're all works. Fuck the
so just
words. They're all
yeah,
words. Fuck the
yeah.
words. Yeah.
So I am speaking with congressmen, congresswomen, senators, a lot of different individuals, local politicians, and some local races. That because like I said, this isn't just about the big races. It's down to it's in some of these states. It's extremely important who we put as our
Mhm.
for education, for governors races, mayor races. All of this is important because we're starting to see that the way they've divided the country is, we're not longer where it's the United States, where it's generally, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you might want to live in Florida because the weather's better, taxes might be a little better. But now it's like, where do I grow my kids up because of what they're going to learn, what education is going to be, or what,
Mhm.
a medical they could get, or what kind of, childbirth protection, or I mean, now it's like really serious now. So now what's happening is, what if you really think about it, is when we had back in the day, we had a civil war, and the civil war was because we had a North and a South, and the North and the South fought together to unite, and we became the United States of America. Donald Trump is making that same North and South because he's basically saying, if you live in these states, you're going to live this way, and I'm going to help you, and the government will help you. If you live in these states, we're going to make it into a shithole. So, he's basically, where is he doing? Taking us back. And again, it all goes back to Project 2025. It all goes back to the Epstein files. It all goes back to the same powerful, corrupt people that are trying to run us. And that is what their Illuminati, as I call it, we're going to destroy. And I say it in my letters, and I say, as somebody that was there and helped put MAGA together, I'm going to do everything in my power to take it apart, piece by piece by piece by piece. So
And the
join me.
revolution will be televised on Substack, everybody.
So join me on the journey. Dean, God bless you, brother. I gotta run. I have another show I gotta do soon. Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah, me too.
everybody that's joining us. God bless you guys. Love
Buddy,
you.
you brought the heat today. Really appreciate it as always. The roundup with my friend Lev Parnas. Subscribe to him today. You go run, do your show. Love you, pal. I'll talk to
You
you
got it,
soon.
brother. Take care, my brother.
Take care. There you go.
Thank
Lev
you, guys.
Parnas, ladies and gentlemen. Go give him a follow. Give him a subscribe. Give him a free sub. Give him a paid sub. Go and cancel that. Oh, hang on. There you are. Oh, we're back. We're back now. Kind of crazy, right? We're here. We're here. We're accepted. You're here. You got a madman that wants to destroy Europe. You got a madman that wants to destroy Canada. You got a madman that is actively destroying America. And he's having some series of very fucking bad days. Enjoy them. It's Schadenfreude. It's the greatest feeling in the world. German. It's a German word for enjoy when terrible fucking things happen to terrible fucking people. It's not the listed definition if you were to Google Schadenfreude and what it means. He's gonna have a tough go. Like I'd be shocked if he made it to April, to be honest with you. Combine that with his dementia diagnosis that he's hiding from everybody, and the continual MRIs and intravenous, what is allegedly this drug to stop or prevent more symptoms of Alzheimer's, never goes away, called Kinsula, IV drip in the hand, usually in the right hand, specifically if you're right hand dominant. That explains his bruising. You're going to get a diagnosis for that. Actually, it's breaking news. I'll break some news here. Lev likes to break some. I'll break some news. Um, you're going to get his diagnosis coming soon too. How do I know that? Well, the Epstein files are coming. What's in the rest of those unredacted Epstein files? Probably some conversations about this diagnosis. Believe it or not. Everything's attached to the Epstein files. Fucking crazy how we always go back to the Epstein files. What's Trump, Russia, Epstein files. Israel, Gaza, Epstein files. Ice goons, Epstein files. Suspension of habeas corpus rights, Epstein files. Attacking Venezuela, Epstein files. I don't need to keep going. I mean, I can. Craziness. But in the words of Bill and Ted in their excellent adventure, something is afoot at the Circle K. Really looking forward to seeing what that is. Really looking forward to helping usher it in a timely fashion as well. With people like Lev, the Steve Schmitz of the world, the Kinsingers of the world, the Cohens of the world, the Zev Shalevs of the world, the Ellie Leonards of the world, the Centered Americas of the world, the Shane Uraks of the world. So many. Nick Parrow, Backbone and Banner, Freddie Pogue. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. We all want the same thing. We want our country back. We want your reputation back. We want your relationship with Canada back. You want your relationship with the EU back. Well, he's trying desperately to destroy all those things. Now's the time to step on the gas, kids. If you can find it in your heart to share this with as many people as humanly possible, I'd really appreciate that. In fact, I'd love it. And if you hit those hearts and hammer that algorithm, that means more people will see this and it'll get to the top of the algo and everybody will be like, oh my God, look at that. I got to realize it's so popular. All those hearts. It's a mind trick, but it works. And more importantly, thank you for your time. And thank you for subscribing. If you are part of this community, I cannot thank you enough. You have changed my life. You have saved my life. You have made so many things I never thought possible. This is an ode to you. I do it every single day. Thanking you, because we are you. And you find value here, and you trust us. And there is nothing cooler in my mind than that. I work for you. So thank you. Go and subscribe. Paid subscribers right now, 25% off for the rest of the month. And you lock in that price forever. Would love for you to become a paid sub. And if you can't, that's okay too. And if you can't afford it, you're having a tough time. Maybe you've got, single income, fixed income, and you really just want unlimited access because you want to have these chats, want to have these conversations. We go through each one case by case, and we have given away hundreds of free subscriptions to people who need them. People that want to stay informed. And so if you can, great. So grateful that you can and so thankful for my paid community, paid free community. So thankful for everybody. So it's my way of giving back, as is the 25% lifetime discount. And founders only pay once. I think it's $150. You get free access for the rest of your life and unlimited access for the rest of your life. I think it's $8 a month as well. Either way, subscribe, share. Thank you. Really appreciate you being here. Canada, America, have a lovely day. We'll see you at 3 o'clock for the 5 Stack with my friend Zev Shalev. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, deanblundell.substack.com. Bye now.